Jalen Brunson can easily be a top 5 player next year. Let's start with his fit with his new coach. Mike Brown's push to speed things up is exactly what Jalen Brunson needs. The Knicks were crawling last season, sitting in the bottom 5 in pace, and it showed. Too many possessions wasted on grinding out half-court isolation sets. Brown's track record says that's about to change. When he was with Sacramento, his teams ranked top 10 in pace across multiple seasons. The offense moved fast, decisions were quick, and transition buckets were a priority. Brunson's going to thrive in that kind of environment. Back when he played off-ball with Dallas, he was already comfortable playing with tempo. Getting him more touches in transition, with defenders scrambling, means fewer double teams and more efficient looks. It takes pressure off his one-on-one creation, which should help raise his shooting percentages without requiring more minutes or energy. Then there's Brown's offensive creativity. The guy pulled from Steve Kerr's playbook and didn't stop there. He sprinkled in motion sets, off-ball movement, and even some of that old-school 7 seconds or less Phoenix philosophy. It worked too. The Kings led the league in offensive rating and true shooting percentage back in the 2023 season. They did it without a heliocentric star, which makes it even more impressive. For Brunson, this opens the floodgates. He won't be stuck pounding the ball every possession. Instead, he'll get to play in motion, hit cutters, run off screens, and mix in pick and rolls with Karl-Anthony Towns. That's a dream combo. Brunson's career shooting numbers are already strong, at nearly 49% from the field and almost 39% from deep. Letting him attack from different spots will stretch defenses and keep his efficiency high. No more easy scouting reports on where he's going to be. Now let's talk defense. Brunson's got his limitations there. He's posted a career defensive estimated plus-minus of -1.7, which is rough for a starting guard. When he's on the floor with Towns, the Knicks gave up a defensive rating of 118. That's not sustainable if they want to make a deep run. Brown knows how to work around that. He's done it before. In Sacramento, he built systems that protected guys like De'Aaron Fox and Monk, both of whom had serious defensive holes. He leaned on switchable wings and timely rotations to cover ground. In New York, he's got better tools to work with. OG, Bridges, and Josh Hart are all elite on-ball defenders. Surrounding Brunson with that kind of defensive talent means he won't have to carry the load on both ends. That lets him conserve energy for what he does best, scoring and facilitating. And it also means fewer mismatches, fewer desperate closeouts, and fewer breakdowns. Brown also doesn't just coach. He holds guys accountable. He's animated on the sidelines and pushes his players constantly. There's real buy-in with that approach. Brunson himself said Brown wants to push them in every way he can. That kind of accountability is what helped Fox take a leap to an all-NBA level. And now it's Brunson's turn. His stats already speak volumes. He's averaging 5 assists a game for his career with just 1.7 turnover. That's clean decision-making, but there's room to push the ceiling. Under Brown's guidance, expect that assist number to go up. More movement in the offense means more opportunities to hit cutters, find shooters, and run clean pick and rolls. Brown's also going to demand smarter reads, better timing, and leadership from Brunson. All of that together could sharpen his floor general skills in a way that puts him in elite company. Speaking of elite, the Brunson-Towns combo was already dangerous on offense last year. They posted an offensive rating over 120, which is elite territory, but they were a mess on the other end. That's where Brown comes in. Offensively, he'll double down on their strengths. Towns spaces the floor well for a big, hitting almost 38% from 3 last season. That draws rim protectors out, and Brunson eats that up. Brown will build on that with more off-ball actions, drag screens, and early offense sets that keep defenders guessing. It's going to create more space for Brunson to operate, whether he's pulling up, driving, or dishing. The pick-and-roll game with Towns is another place to expect gains. Towns ranked in the 98th percentile in defensive rebounding, which means more chances to get into early offense. And Brown's offensive philosophy means they'll actually use those chances. Brunson's already a smart operator in the two-man game, but with better spacing and structured movement around him, the efficiency should climb even higher. That will translate to more easy assists, fewer forced shots, and probably a jump in overall scoring numbers without a drop in accuracy. Now, you can't ignore Brown's history with top-tier talent. He's coached LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Steph Curry, and he adapted to every one of them. That's rare. He knows when to push and when to step back. When he took over Sacramento, he helped Fox make a huge leap, and they made the playoffs for the first time in 16 years. That earned him Coach of the Year. It wasn't just the game plan. It was his ability to read the room, set expectations, and get results. Brunson, with the top 5 MVP finish already under his belt, is sitting on the edge of superstardom. Brown's experience is going to help him take that next step. Whether it's refining his late-game decision-making or sharpening his leadership, there's reason to believe Brunson's going to elevate every part of his game. The numbers back that up. Projections for the 2026 season already point to growth in several areas. Because the pace is expected to increase, Brunson's per 36 scoring is projected at 26.7 points. That's a bump from his previous numbers, and it's built on volume without sacrificing efficiency. His projected shooting splits sit at 48.3% from the field and 39% from three. That's lethal for a guard who takes a lot of mid-range shots and tough pull-ups. And because of the ball movement in Brown's system, Brunson's projected to hit 7 assists per 36 minutes. That's a real leap. It suggests he'll be running the offense more like a true floor general, not just a scoring guard. All of this also feeds into Brunson's ability to take over late in games. He averaged nearly 30 points per game in the 2025 playoffs, which already puts him in elite territory. But now, with a coach who maximizes his strengths, hides his weaknesses, and surrounds him with the right pieces, those numbers could become the norm, not just a playoff outburst. And remember, he's not doing it with gimmicks. His turnover rate is low, his shooting is consistent, and he rarely forces bad shots. Brown's system is just going to make that even more sustainable. So yeah, it's stats all the way down. Nothing in Brown's history suggests he's going to let a player like Brunson coast. The culture's going to be intense, the systems will be sharp, and the expectations are high. But the fit is so clean, it's hard not to expect numbers to spike across the board. Brown's fast pace, creative playbook, smart defense schemes, and accountability culture are all perfectly built to unlock more from Brunson. The guy's already one of the best in the league. This coaching change could push him into a whole different tier, and the numbers are going to tell the whole story. But now, let's talk about the trio: Brunson, Towns, and Bridges. Jalen Brunson's first season with Karl-Anthony Towns and Bridges felt like the beginning of something way bigger than just 51 wins. From the jump, the chemistry between Brunson and Towns was obvious. Both were named all-star starters, and that wasn't just about reputation. Brunson put up 26 points per game on nearly 49% shooting, while dishing out a career-high 7.3 assists. Towns gave them 25 points and 14 rebounds a night. It's rare for two players to get all-star starter spots on the same team, and it hadn't happened for the Knicks since 1975. That alone says a lot, but the numbers go even deeper. In the regular season, their synergy drove the Knicks to a third seed finish in the Eastern Conference with a 51-31 record. The offense leaned heavily on Brunson and Towns, and despite being predictable at times, it still punished teams. That's the wild part. Even with defenses keying in, Brunson still carried the load, ran the most pick and rolls of any duo in the league with Towns, and delivered. They logged 545 pick and roll actions and scored over 1.08 points per direct play. That puts them in the 62nd percentile. And that's while everyone knew it was coming. That stat alone is telling. It shows the floor was already high in year one. Towns spaced the floor like few bigs can, hitting 37.8% from deep. That forced defenders to step out, and Brunson made them pay. Driving lanes opened up constantly, and Brunson took advantage by getting into the paint, forcing rotations, and either scoring or kicking out. He ended the season with a field goal percentage of 48.5%, an incredible mark considering the volume and degree of difficulty. Then came the playoffs, and things got even more impressive. Brunson turned up the heat with 32.4 points per game, kept his assists up at 7.5, and maintained decent efficiency with a 44.4% field goal clip. His three-point percentage dipped to 31%, but that was partly because of how much he was asked to do. He led the entire league in touches and time of possession. The offense relied on him for everything, from setting the pace to creating shots for others and himself. But that kind of workload had downsides. It made the offense predictable, especially in longer playoff series. Teams started switching smaller defenders onto Towns, forcing him to play more as a creator rather than a finisher. That's not where he's most dangerous. His post-ups, though underused, were incredibly efficient. He averaged over 1.2 points per post-up, but only posted up 5 times per 100 possessions. Increasing that next season could add a new layer to the offense and take pressure off Brunson. The Brunson-Towns playoff duo posted an offensive rating of 120.48. That's elite. The problem came on the other end. Their defensive rating together was 118. Both have well-documented struggles on defense. Brunson, at 6'2", often gets targeted by bigger guards and wings. His defensive estimated plus-minus sits at -1.7, one of the worst marks for starting guards. Towns isn't exactly a lockdown anchor either. While his rebounding numbers are elite and he averaged 14 boards per game, His awareness and consistency defensively remain shaky. He makes up for it at times with effort, but lapses still show up, especially in tight moments. That's where Bridges came in. His role wasn't flashy, but it was vital. He provided spacing, defensive flexibility, and versatility that held the whole thing together. The Knicks starting lineup: Brunson, Bridges, OG, Josh Hart, and Towns posted one of the best net ratings in the league. They logged more minutes together than any other starting five, at 18.9 per game. The reliance on that group showed the staff knew exactly where their bread was buttered. Still, Bridges' offensive involvement was underwhelming. He wasn't asked to create much, rarely attempted off-the-dribble threes, and mostly functioned as a floor spacer. That worked during the regular season, but it was exposed in the playoff. Teams packed the paint against Brunson and dared others to beat them. With Bridges and Hart not initiating offense, it became too easy to anticipate what the Knicks were doing. That's what's going to make next year so much better. They've already built the base. The chemistry between Brunson and Towns is set. The efficiency is already strong. With more time, those pick and roll numbers can climb even higher. And if Towns gets more touches in the post, where he scored over 1.2 points per play, then that unlocks a whole new area of offense. It forces defenses to pick their poison. Collapse on Towns and Brunson's. Cutting or perimeter shooting gets better looks. Stay home, and Towns can go to work one-on-one. And Bridges should take on a bigger role too, running some pick and rolls, initiating from the wing, attacking closeouts. These aren't wild ideas. They're logical steps forward. His usage has room to grow, and with better distribution of creation duties, Brunson doesn't have to carry so much. That makes the offense less predictable and extends Brunson's effectiveness across full playoff series. Defensively, it's all about coverage and schemes. The Knicks have elite wing defenders in OG, Bridges, and Hart. That trio can switch, help, and recover better than almost any group in the league. They just need smarter system adjustments to cover for Brunson and Towns. That could mean more aggressive traps, earlier help, or pre-switching actions to keep Brunson from being attacked. Towns, with his rebounding, already finishes possessions well. Now it's about holding the line on initial containment. Brunson's growth curve also hasn't flattened out. If anything, it's about to bend upward again. Projections for next year have him in the 27 to 28 points per game range, with 8 or more assists. His efficiency is expected to tick up, landing around 49% from the field. That's the product of better spacing, more secondary creators, and smarter looks. Less isolation, more assisted opportunities, and more possessions in transition. Towns should see a similar jump. Getting him more post touches and finishing more plays in pick and rolls will push his scoring to 26 or 27 points. His rebounding is likely to stay elite, hovering at 14 per game, which helps anchor the defense even when the perimeter breaks down. And with an offensive system that moves the ball more and shifts responsibilities, his assists could creep up too. And the team? They're trending up fast. With some key players leaving Boston and Indiana taking a step back, the Knicks are set up to be a top 2 seed in the East. They've already shown they can win over 50 games with a system that wasn't even fully optimized. If they improve even slightly on both ends, they'll be pushing for 60 wins. That puts them right in the title conversation. The thing about this group is that nothing they did last season felt like a ceiling. It felt like a first step. Brunson showed he can be a lead scorer and playmaker on a winning team. Towns proved he can thrive next to a guard who keeps the floor spaced and makes smart reads. Bridges showed he can be the glue between offense and defense, even with a low usage role. And all three still have room to grow. Add in tactical improvements, deeper rotations, and better defensive coverage, and it's not hard to see the Knicks making another leap. None of it's based on hope or hype. The numbers are already there. The pick and roll volume, the offensive rating, the all-star selections, the win total, it's all pointing in one direction. And with more reps, more trust, and smarter adjustments, Brunson's first year with Towns and Bridges could look like just the warm-up act. The real show is still coming. But then let's talk about the new guy. Jordan Clarkson was exactly what Jalen Brunson needed. Finally, another backcourt option who could handle pressure, pull defenders out of the paint, and let Brunson breathe. Clarkson's numbers don't scream superstar, but the fit is perfect. His three-point percentage sits around 33.6% for his career, and he's projected to take almost 8 threes per 36 minutes in the 2026 season. That kind of volume keeps defenders honest. Whether he's hitting or not, defenders have to stay home, and that creates crucial spacing for Brunson to attack off the dribble. In the 2025 season, Brunson hit 51.9% of his two-pointers, and that was with all the attention on him. Give him a little more space, and that number's only going up. Clarkson also helps by taking some of the ball handling burden off Brunson's shoulders. Clarkson has grown into more than just a scorer. He's projected to average over 5 assists per 36 minutes next season. That allows Brunson to play more off the ball, where he's quietly been deadly. Back in 2024, he hit over 40% on catch-and-shoot threes. That's a weapon the Knicks didn't get to use much because Brunson had to create everything himself. Now, with Clarkson capable of initiating possessions, Brunson can shift into a movement shooter role in spurts, something defenses haven't had to deal with before. And fewer responsibilities means fewer mistakes. Brunson averaged 2.5 turnovers per game last season. Not a terrible number considering his usage rate, but still an area where support helps. Clarkson's ability to run the offense through stretches means Brunson won't have to force so many tight window passes late in the clock. That'll lead to more efficient possessions, cleaner looks, and better decision-making in crunch time. Clarkson's own assist numbers might not pop off the page, with a career average of under 3 per game, but his recent playmaking growth gives the Knicks another initiator who can read the floor and make the right pass. It's not just in the half court where they complement each other. Clarkson thrives in transition. He's ranked in the 70th percentile among guards in transition scoring, putting up over 1.09 points per possession. Brunson was even more efficient, putting up 1.12 per possession on the break. Put them together, and they'll be able to push the pace more often. Clarkson's willingness to run after rebounds or turnovers creates chances for Brunson to leak out or spot up. And when Brunson wants to slow it down and control tempo, Clarkson can do the running. It's a classic tempo split that benefits both guys. Then there's lineup versatility. Clarkson's been both a point guard and a shooting guard in his career, which means the Knicks can use him in all kinds of combinations. He can come in and run the second unit, or play next to Brunson as a pseudo-lead guard. It forces opposing defenses to pick their poison. If they put a weaker defender on Clarkson, he'll attack. If they shade help toward Brunson, Clarkson can punish them from outside or get downhill. And the mismatches only increase when they stagger their minutes. Clarkson can feast on bench units while Brunson rests, giving the Knicks consistent scoring from the guard spot for a full 48 minutes. And don't overlook how Brunson's shooting opens up opportunities for Clarkson too. Brunson's nearly 39% from deep for his career, and teams can't sag off him. That opens up driving lanes for Clarkson, who thrives in one-on-one situations. He averaged over 5 potential assists per game in 2024. That shows he's not just chucking shots, he's creating chances for others. It's a give and take that builds rhythm between teammates, and it'll only get smoother as they build chemistry. Clarkson's playoff experience also gives him value beyond the box score. 71 career playoff games. That matters. He's been in hostile arenas, made big shots, and dealt with defensive game plans designed to stop him. That's exactly the kind of teammate Brunson needs. Someone who won't shrink in big moments. Brunson already proved he's built for the playoffs, averaging nearly 30 points per game in the 2025 postseason, but now he's got a backcourt partner who can hit shots late, run an offense, and take pressure off when things get tight. Clarkson's career clutch shooting sits at over 42%, and while that's not elite, it's enough to keep teams honest. That balance matters a ton in the fourth quarter. Brunson's clutch field goal percentage last season was 51.2%. That's elite, but if defenses can load up on him without fear of anyone else, those numbers will drop. Clarkson gives them a second shot creator in the final minutes, someone who can hit a pull-up three or get to the rim. That lets Brunson pick his spots and stay efficient instead of forcing the issue. The Knicks now have 2 guards who can operate late in games, and that changes everything in tight playoff matchups. The advanced metrics back this up. Brunson had a usage rate of 28.2% last year. That's a heavy load, but when his usage dips just a little, say below 30%, his true shooting percentage jumps to over 60.5%. That's the sweet spot. Clarkson's projected usage rate is around 21%, which is enough to carry possessions, but not so high that it disrupts the flow. That balance gives the Knicks flexibility to run different actions and avoid becoming predictable. Lineups featuring both Brunson and Clarkson have already shown a projected net rating of plus 3.5. Even with their defensive limitations, that offensive firepower just overwhelms opponents, especially when the rest of the rotation is filled with wings who can defend, cut, and shoot. Clarkson brings the scoring punch, Brunson brings the control, and together they form a guard duo that can beat defenses in multiple ways. Even defensively, Clarkson's not the liability he used to be. He brought his defensive rating down to 111.5 last season, which is a real step forward. He's not locking guys up, but he's holding his ground. Brunson, for all his offensive brilliance, had a defensive rating of 113.2, so having another guard who can at least contain smaller perimeter threats helps a lot. Clarkson's 6'3" wingspan also lets him contest shots and survive switches when needed. The Knicks can still lean on their elite wing defenders like Bridges and OG to clean things up, but Clarkson being serviceable on defense makes the whole system sturdier. They're also switchable enough to not get completely hunted in pick and rolls. While neither is a stopper, they can at least hold the line and funnel ball handlers into the help defense. That's all they need to do. Stay in position, avoid silly fouls, and keep the ball in front long enough for help to rotate. This whole setup makes Brunson's life easier. More spacing, more shot creation, more pace, and more poise late in games. Clarkson fills all the little gaps that were showing up last season, and as they get more time together, the reads get cleaner, the timing gets sharper, and the confidence goes up. Brunson won't have to do everything anymore, which means when he does take over, he'll have more in the tank. And Clarkson's not trying to be the number one option. He knows his role, he's aggressive, but he doesn't hijack the offense. That self-awareness makes this backcourt pairing even more sustainable. It's a partnership, not a power struggle. So going into the 2026 season, Brunson's already in a position to have his most efficient year yet. He's got Towns spacing the floor, Bridges locking up wings, and now Clarkson making plays, hitting threes, and keeping defenses honest. The pieces fit, the numbers support it, the film confirms it, and as long as Clarkson stays healthy and continues to embrace his role, he's going to elevate Brunson's game in every way that matters. Not by taking over, but by unlocking options that weren't available last season, and that makes all the difference. But what about the other new guy? Yabusele might be the most under-the-radar boost Jalen Brunson's ever gotten. The numbers don't scream superstar, but every little piece of Yabusele's game is tailored to make Brunson better. For starters, his floor spacing is a real problem for defenders. He shot 48% from the field last season, and even though the exact three-point numbers weren't listed, the efficiency tells you defenders can't just ignore him. That alone changes how defenses approach Brunson. With Yabusele dragging bigs out of the paint, Brunson's got more room to operate. That matters, especially for a guy who averaged over 51% on two-point shots last season, while constantly facing traffic in the lane. Now add in Yabusele's pick and pop ability. This isn't some clunky big who's only rolling to the rim. He's smooth out of screens, sets strong picks, and can step back for a jumper with confidence. That fits perfectly with Mike Brown's push for pace and movement. Brunson averaged over 6 seconds per possession last year, which led the entire league. That's a lot of time holding the ball. But now, with a guy like Yabusele, who can make quick decisions and hit shots off movement, those possessions get shorter and more efficient. Brunson's assist rate was already 38.9%. Having a reliable pick and pop partner like Yabusele is only going to boost that. Defensively, Yabusele fills a lot of gaps that Brunson's size can't cover. At 6'8" and 260 pounds, Yabusele's big enough to battle down low, but mobile enough to switch onto wings. That means when teams try to isolate Brunson, who posted a defensive rating of 113.2 last year, they're going to run into a lot more resistance. Switches don't have to be panic-inducing anymore. Brunson can stick to less dangerous assignments, while Yabusele handles the bulkier matchups. And don't overlook how Yabusele gets them out in transition. His 5.6 rebounds per game last season weren't just numbers, they were opportunities. When he grabs a board, he's not looking to hold the ball. He gets it out quick. That fits Brunson perfectly, who averaged over 1.12 points per transition possession. With Mike Brown emphasizing a faster pace, Yabusele's ability to start fast breaks gives Brunson more chances to get easy points without having to dribble through two defenders in a half-court set. More early offense, more open shots, more space. Then there's the locker room stuff, which does actually show up on the floor. Yabusele's already praised the Knicks culture, even calling out their intense mentality and team bond. That stuff matters when games get tight. It means communication's sharp, trust is high, and everyone's bought in. Brunson's the leader, but it helps when other guys come in and match that energy. Yabusele's not trying to be the guy, he's trying to help the guy. That makes Brunson's job easier, and it makes the whole system run smoother. Yabusele's got real playoff experience too. He's been through battles in the EuroLeague and with multiple NBA teams. He's played meaningful minutes and made smart plays under pressure. That matters in the postseason, where everything tightens up and every decision gets magnified. Brunson, who averaged 29.4 points in the 2025 playoffs, doesn't need someone who shrinks in big moments. He needs teammates who can help shoulder the burden when the floor closes in. Yabusele gives them another stabilizing force, someone who won't make mistakes and can still knock down shots when defenses collapse. And let's talk versatility. Yabusele isn't locked into one position. He can play the 4 or slide to the 5 in small ball lineups. When he's at center, defenses have to pull their rim protectors away from the hoop. That gives Brunson even more lanes to attack. And with Brunson's mid-range shooting and floater game, a clean runway to the rim is basically a free bucket. On the flip side, Yabusele can set hard screens that free up Brunson for jumpers off the catch. And since Brunson's such a crafty scorer, any defender who goes under the screen is going to get punished. The bench production is another area where Yabusele fills a massive hole. The Knicks had one of the worst scoring benches in the league last season at just over 21 points per game. That meant Brunson had to play more minutes and carry more offensive weight. With Yabusele averaging 11 points per game, that second unit gets some life. It keeps the offense from falling apart the second Brunson sits, which means he doesn't have to go full throttle for 40 minutes every night. That's going to help his efficiency stay high throughout the season and into the playoff. There's also an advanced stat impact that goes beyond the eye test. Even though Yabusele's defensive rating wasn't specified, it's clear from his switchability and rebounding that he helps stabilize lineups. Brunson's numbers always take a hit when he has to play with defensive liabilities, so giving him someone who can clean up on the boards and switch on defense helps a lot. Brunson shot 51.2% in clutch situations last year, but that kind of efficiency is hard to maintain if he's constantly carrying the full load. Giving him teammates like Yabusele, who can hold the line, lets him focus on what he does best. And then there's the usage factor. Brunson's usage rate was 28.2% last year, top tier. But that kind of number gets tiring over an entire season. Yabusele can handle some possessions from the high post or on short rolls, and that gives Brunson breathing room. Brunson averaged 2.5 turnovers a game last year, and part of that came from just being overworked. More possessions where someone else can create or finish means Brunson can pick his spots more selectively. That means fewer turnovers, better looks, and higher efficiency. Lineups with both Brunson and Yabusele are projected to have a positive net rating, and it's not hard to see why. Brunson brings the creation and shot making. Yabusele brings the spacing, the switchability, the rebounding, and the bench scoring. Together, they help smooth out the game on both ends. The Knicks don't just get better offensively, they get harder to guard, more flexible defensively, and way more consistent from quarter to quarter. This isn't about Yabusele becoming a star. It's about having a teammate who enhances Brunson's strengths and covers for some of his weaknesses. That's how good teams get great. That's how stars like Brunson make the jump from all-star to MVP level. Every little advantage adds up. Every high IQ teammate matters, and every second that Brunson doesn't have to force it is a win. So going into the 2026 season, the addition of Yabusele isn't just depth, it's optimization, it's balance, and it's a huge reason Brunson's about to have his best year yet. The driving lanes will be wider, the pick and pops will be cleaner, the minutes will be smarter, and the defense will finally have an extra layer of support behind him. It's the kind of upgrade that doesn't grab headlines, but changes everything. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.